Life weaves its threads with unexpected knots, but it can create a beautiful tapestry filled with woven images of possibilities within. However, the complexity of human capacity can keep us within time bounds like selvage, and instantly, grain lines become timelines, and we wonder is it possible to balance work, life, and activism? Is it practical? And if so, then what's the plan? Ever since I was 8 years old, I nurtured a passion for fashion. And this passion had led me on an educational pursuit to study fashion design both in high school and in college. I was overjoyed when I had the opportunity to have my dream job waiting for me upon graduation. But that dream quickly became a rude awakening. Every other day from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, I worked. Then I had to endure a long commute from Midtown Manhattan to Canarsie, Brooklyn. The threads of my time and my energy were pulled in multiple directions, threatening to unravel under the unrealistic tugs of internal and external expectation. In that era of trying to be Superwoman, I became burnt out. And this wasn't a fleeting fatigue, but more like a linger that became a catalyst for a major transformation. I needed to learn how to prioritize myself and to find work that was fulfilling to do on a meaningful daily basis. This was a call for a long overdue pause. And that became a pivotal transformation that not only shifted my perspective, it also shifted my career. Once I did that, I was able to open up my capacity to identify the needs of my community and how to serve them. Now, finding time to do community service in a life that was already filled with so many things, it was a challenge. I mean, I was wearing so many hats, no pun intended, from being a wife, a mother, a university administrator, and an entrepreneur. I just couldn't figure out and fathom how I was gonna add one more thing to a life that I was already trying to juggle all these different items. From that day forward, I made a commitment to change my rhythm, one that maximized my time and my purpose. And in doing so, I was able to identify the needs of my community and to incorporate something that always been a passion in my heart. Now, before I learned the value of strategic service, I was spread thin, overworked, and overcommitted to many different causes that seemed more like busy work than meaningful service. I had the wrong wow factor of being worried, overworked, and worn out, which was given the totally a wrong different impression. As I thought about how am I going to bring value and give back, I had to first consider how my mental, physical, and emotional health could allow me to then serve others. And it's a continuous journey. Every day, it's being refined. Some days, I get it right, and some days, I gotta give myself the grace to try all over again. As I think about giving community service, you cannot pour from an empty cup, as the saying goes, but you can pour from your overflow. I am rejuvenated daily and transformed as I utilize my poetry, my music, my faith, which recharges my soul, and a good, long conversation with a good friend, I see you, is always a good reason to charge my phone. As I think about purposeful alignment that utilizes my skills, my abilities, and my experience, it focused me to really think hard on where I can make meaningful impact towards my community. Today, I utilize my service in the areas of economic development, the arts, and education for youth. And as I think about how meaningful and rewarding serving the community has been, it has been able to overflow and spill over to other areas of my life with my family and my career. As I think about this journey more, a strategic roadmap, which I profoundly refer to as the plan, an acronym for productivity, leverage, accommodate, and navigate, sets the groundwork for community care and self-care for impactful service. It's more like a diamond. Thinking about a diamond where you are looking at your purpose in a multifaceted ways. Time management and work-life balance is not a two-dimensional construct. As we think about the multifacets of who we are, the different dimensions of what we bring to the table, the diamond, the precious diamond, reflects who we need to be when we need to be in that very moment. As I think about my journey of community service, I think about my precious family. My mother and my father, they set the stage of giving me the first examples of what community service looks like. My dad was an auxiliary police officer and dedicated tons of hours serving his community. And my mom, as simple as creating brown bag lunches for the homeless, was examples that permeated in my mind, that it has become full circle today. As recently, I spent Martin Luther King National Day of Service with my husband and my 2 sons doing community service in order to fight against hunger. Yes, it is possible. It is possible to incorporate community service in your life. And it is one of those things that as you think about making time for doing this work, you don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity or a horrific an event to take a stand, to get involved, to do something. It could be as simple as in the hustle and bustle in your everyday lives, you could find an opportunity to create change. As I am currently right now working towards incorporating and educating my community in the arts, in addition to spending hours on the internet looking up resources, community resources, and ways on how I could serve my community, I simply incorporated in my everyday lives, whether having a conversation with someone or looking for inspiration on the train and in my daily commute. If you take small steps towards taking action, it will lead to a major impact that you're able to do. And as you sew together pockets of the little free time that you have, you can weave together a creation of wonderful opportunities for you to bring this in part of your life. It is something that is possible, it is practical, and you can plan for it. Now let's break down the components of the plan on a strategy on how you can create a roadmap that takes self-care and community care as a collaboration that works together to make a compassionate, deliberate, intentional plan for us to expand and balance our capacity to serve our community. Productivity. Productivity is all about being productive in all areas of your life. One of the strategies that I utilize in being productive is utilizing my time, my energy, and my strengths, and making sure that it is purposeful in what it is that I'm doing. Think about time blocking. Time blocking is taking a focused set of time where you're able to concentrate on one activity. So when it comes to community service, you can dedicate 1 hour a week or at least 1 hour a month to a cause that you support. Leverage. Leverage is about utilizing the collective resources that when we combine forces together, the powerful connection and what we can do can change the world. Leverage is about looking at the collective resources that you can balance through your community and individuals that you meet in order to accomplish your goals. I've been able to make great impactful change within my community by connecting with leading organizations that consist of thousands of members, and collectively, we're able to leverage our talent, skills, and resources in order to create global change. Think about civic organizations within your community, online forums, workshops that you can participate in where you can build your network and connect with others to leverage the possibilities of what you can do collectively. Accommodate. Accommodate is understanding that there are changes, because change is the only constant in life. You want to be able to be flexible for organizational and societal changes. As you are being flexible, you are able to still accomplish the same goal, but the method may change, and being okay with that. I had the opportunity with one of my service organizations to provide synchronous online training to teach teachers in Liberia how to equip their students with technology skills. Now, there were many things that I couldn't anticipate that could have been a challenge. As they say, anything that could go wrong went wrong. And one of the things were the infrastructure of limited Wi-Fi on both of our ends. So on the first day of that first session, we recognized the challenge and was flexible in being able to change modals. Instead of providing synchronous online training to these students, we were able to pre-record training videos so the teachers could then utilize it at their earliest convenience. Now, being able to utilize that resource and change modals, we were still able to accomplish the goals. The children at the school in Liberia were still able to gain a sense of technology skills that they would need in the workforce. And it was being a group to be collaborative and to accommodate, we were able to accomplish this. Navigate. Navigate is all about thinking strategically how you are going to do your service, but not only how can you do that for others, but how does it line up with your goals? You want to think about being purposeful in achieving not only your professional, but your personal goals. I had the opportunity to be invited to serve as a chair for a conference committee. And I was flattered that I was even considered to do this role and serve in this leadership capacity. But the more that I thought about it and looked at my current responsibilities and what I had already on my plate, I had to be selective and intentional on what I participated in. And I said no, and it was okay, because I had to establish boundaries and really think that, how can I utilize my capacity with the same organization, but work with a project that was more in line with my service goals? And in doing so, it really helped to be a win-win for both myself and the organization. As you think about the components of the plan of productivity, leverage, accommodate, and navigate, let me leave you with these 3 affirmations. Yes, you can balance work life and activism. Yes, it is practical to incorporate it in your everyday life. And yes, the plan works when you work the plan. It's not merely just for aspiration, but we must be deliberate and intentional as we engage the world to balance our capacity to serve our communities. Thank you.